recording.
Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to Concordia University's Forest Space, and thank you for joining us for today's event live from Concordia's Greenhouse. Now, to help situate you, we're streaming this to YouTube live from Forest Space. We're located on unceded Indigenous lands in Tiohtià:ke, Montreal. And here at Forest Space, we work with our university community to help mobilize knowledge, co-create daily activities that examine research questions, projects, things in development here at the university. With that, it's very much my pleasure to pass it to Dom Smith, Outreach and Communications Coordinator for Concordia Greenhouse. Welcome, Dom. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Doug, and thanks for having me, and thanks for coming, guys. So my name is Dom, as you heard from Doug, but I also go by Dom Diggity. That's my stage name for the Concordia Greenhouse Instagram. Come. As you can see, it's hard to find. But as you go through the trials and tribulations of walking up and down the stairs or the elevators, you will find yourself this corridor, and it will lead you to the promised land. So come. You can do a little walk if you want. Do a little dance. And huzzah! Feel free to look around this way. So this is the Concordia Greenhouse. This is the hallway. It goes all the way down the south face of the building. Pretty long. It's the Henry Hall building. It's across the street from the library building, and essentially the greenhouse has been here. It was designed with the building in 1966. It's part of the Sir George William campus, and as time went on, and as the merger between Sir George William and Loyola came to be, they were going to close and repurpose this greenhouse. So with the collaboration of the Concordia student groups and the Sustainable Concordia initiatives, they managed to come together and repurpose it. And then in 2008, they opened it to the public, and then here we are today. So as you can see, now we use it as a study space, but it's a multi-functioning space where students can study, mental health talks, therapy sessions, yoga, movie nights, workshops on basic horticulture and agricultural methods using a greenhouse, pest control, the whole 9 yards. A lot of times we do tours for youth and marginalized communities so they can get experience with the greenhouse via our workshops, via our many community building initiatives as well. So as we keep going, so from walking too slow, moonwalk. So a fun fact, during the pandemic, we were closed for a while, and we kind of retrofitted this room that was closed for the houseplants propagation program, and we turned it into a pond room. So we were able to expand our study space for the students, and it's a nice place for students to relax and unwind, listen to the bathroom break, and feed the fish. As you can see, it's pretty full, and it has been due to the closure that is happening soon. We will be closed due to the removal and decontamination of asbestos and other harmful materials from the 13th floor. There's an engine room on this side of the wall that you can't see, but once that's all clear, we're promised to return winter 2025 to get everything back in order. But before that happens, what we're going to do is have a huge plant sale. So all these plants are seen, and a lot of the plants that are inside these rooms are all going to be sold for a very affordable price, ranging some things from $3 and some of the bigger plants to, $80, but very affordable and attainable for the Montreal and Concordia community. A lot of how the greenhouse runs depends on the different working groups that are working inside the greenhouse. The hydroflora is one of the working groups here. They maintain and take care of the majority of the house plants in the greenhouse. There's going to be a plant sale February 1st this week to help deal with the closure and just kind of like liquidate what we have. But yes, so hydroflora, we also deal with working with creative groups on campus to come up with different ways for us to engage with nature and in different student groups and academia as well. So that's the story of hydroflora. If we continue onward, every week we give workshops, volunteer sessions to the community. And in this room, you can see different displays. This is my colleague Marion, who's trying to dodge. You can't get out of the way. But this is how we built and maintained these systems to engage with student groups, to teach them about hydroponics, different techniques, maybe getting exposure to different hydroponic and greenhouse growing methods, vertical gardening. And a lot of our students moved on to become professionals in the field, whether it's through working with governmental groups or commercial groups. This tends to be like the hub and the first engagement place. So that's kind of what Hydroflora does. House plants and just getting students engaged early on in their academic processes. So we have Hamidou Horticulture, another working group here, who specializes in growing African and Caribbean plants and herbs. They have the same approach with dealing with young students to help have them have exposure to growing rare plants. They have a plot at Loyola as well. And what's important about this space for them is this is how they're able to grow and start a lot of their seeds, their seedlings, and then they're later on able to propagate and plant them in their other garden at Loyola. So the greenhouse for a lot of these groups, for these garden groups, is kind of like the first stage in the garden season, and then they're able to move a lot of the seedlings onward to the campus. So with the closure, that is something that we're going to have to work on. We have been provided a temporary greenhouse that's going to be located at the Loyola campus, but it doesn't really have the same space and accessibility that this greenhouse has. So that's just one thing that we want to talk about. Here we have the original houseplants propagation program, where we have a lot of manageable, most of them are succulents and cacti, but manageable plants that we kind of introduce students to, especially community members, so they are able to work and engage with plants that they can easily maintain without being too afraid of them, killing them, or having an experience that kind of deters them from plants. These are like the plants that are easy to maintain. We're teaching with kids or anything like that. They're easy to maintain. Young parents, and they love to introduce these types of plants to their kids, because it's like, oh, my succulent, easy to maintain. They're always encouraged to come back here and not be deterred. Sometimes you have flowers, kids could be like, oh, I killed a flower, but by having these programs, we're able to keep an encouragement level type of plant, because that's everyone's first fear, is like, oh, I kill plants. Not when you're in the greenhouse. We all learn how to manage that feeling. And here is Co-op Cultural Actions room. They're another working group that manages the microgreens and their own CSA throughout the greenhouse. They also have plants at Loyola as well. They have a garden plot there. But this room, again, same thing for Hamidou Horticulture, is used to start a lot of their seedlings. And this is where they maintain their microgreens CSA. And a lot of these microgreens can be found at the Hive. And some of these are also shared with the People's Potato as well. Some of these other plants that I'm seeing in the background, they have lettuce and basil that I'm pretty sure that they contribute to their CSA and other Concordia food groups on campus. So very important group. What I have to say about them is that they are one of the leading agricultural schools on campus. They engage with a lot of students growing in a greenhouse, but also in soil. So it's very important. A lot of students, that's how they kind of get their first initial introduction into urban agriculture in Montreal. And they're one of very few in the city. So with this being closed down, they're gonna have to find out ways to keep their programming at the same demand that they were in the past. But yeah, we're all working together to find out ways to succeed. And this area of the greenhouse, we like to call it the far end. But this is where a lot of the things that are cool happen. Sometimes students who have capstones or any type of research rent out space to, work on their projects, whether it's trying to figure out things with solar panels or computation arts classes where I had a student who, in computation arts, he connected sensors to plants, and every time she moved the leaf, it was represented on the screen. So different types of research that can be conducted in these rooms. They're called visiting projects. Students can apply, and it's attainable. that's the thing. The key thing about this space is that students can come and just, if you're at the Botanical Gardens, for example, or any other universities, the paperwork is kind of difficult. At the greenhouse, it's straightforward. A lot of it is hands-on, and the community kind of shares their assets and works together to promote everyone's projects. Because you never know, if the student has a breakthrough, maybe it can help us. If they have Arduinos or any sensors that we could use, we always like to share resources and information. So that's something I would like to say about that part of the greenhouse. And here we have our little oasis that we've created for this special occasion. I have this room for a lot of the student film and journalism groups to kind of share their story, utilize the space for their creativity. So we brought a lot of plants in here so they can use it for whatever project they may have. And just kind of shows a way of like how it's a collusion. Someone earlier, I had some jazz musicians from the musical department. They were using the space, and they kind of said how, you know, Concordia can kind of be the lonely school because you can have these lonely parts on campus, but this is a gem. And the purpose of this and this tour that I want to explain to you, to everyone, is with the closure, it is sad. There is a lot of hope though, because this is something that I feel the community is aware of, but we need to make sure that they keep remembering and knowing of this place's existence and the value that it has for the community. The greenhouse is a place for marginalized groups, students, and all walks of life to come together to express and be closer to nature, whether it's through mental health or having a safe space to talk and express yourself, or a place to express your creativity. But as long as we're being closer to nature, being more attached to what we have, I feel like this is a gem that needs to be protected and remembered. And hopefully through the future, we can tie it more with academia so the university gets to also share this value with us and is aware of what happens here as we continue to grow throughout the closure.
Thank you so much, Dom.
Hey, Dom, can I ask a question?
Yeah, please, Doug.
I just wanted to know, maybe you said at the beginning, I just want to know how long you were involved with the greenhouse.
Oh, me? So I've been a member of the greenhouse community since 2015. I started off as one of those visiting projects that I was talking about. I had a little small hydroponics project, and through then I started giving just free lessons or free talks about gardening. That was back then, and then it just kind of grew into this thing where I met my colleagues from Hydroflora, and we ended up starting a plant business. And this is what I would like to share for the university. This is something that is, how can I say, a think tank, a green think tank, if you will, where young alumni and entrepreneurs are able to come together to create this thing that kind of flourished into becoming Concordia's main houseplant provider. You know, very local, very in-house, but still successful nonetheless. And there's other groups that have done the same thing, such as Co-op Cult of Action, City Farm School, other individuals who have the same story as mine. It's like, hell, I was here back in the past. I had no idea how I was going to get involved with agriculture. And when you find this place, it kind of takes over you, and you're like, okay, this is like a home base for me. And fun fact, for anyone still listening, this is the only free access greenhouse in the whole city. So, you know, so yeah, the Westmount greenhouses is not this accessible. The Verdun greenhouses is accessible, but it's not downtown, and it doesn't have like seating space like we have. And like I said, we have Wi-Fi, we have seating, we're open to events and rental space. So to the university, I would like to say again, it's like, this is what you already have. Hopefully we can work together to keep doing this and come with ways that it can work out for both the student groups and the faculty and provo to maybe solidify this in academia. Because I think that could be the future of having more faculty tours, educational tours, talks with different universities around the world about how to manage green space in urban settings. And these are things that we've all done in the past. We've had many talks with different universities. We partnered with a couple of professors from McGill and Concordia. It was called the Adaptation Futures event. We did it through Sustainable Month in October of last year. So these are all things that always happen. But I feel like going forward, and what the greenhouse will do is to promote this more with the help of Force Space and other channels on campus with media, we can express ourselves more and get more attached to the community.
Definitely true. The greenhouse is a special spot. It's easy to see that from way over here. It would be
Mhm.
great, if after, like in the and during, even just in the period in between, new space, whatever that may be, that we can work together to do some kind of workshops, etc., sort of keep the energy alive, give people opportunity to like get their hands in the dirt, etc.
For sure. I mean, we're working on a lot of virtual projects to keep people engaged. So I'm working with a lot of film students to come up with one project is the augmented reality to have like a virtual tour of the greenhouse while it's closed. Also having small clips about basic houseplant care and things about the greenhouse that we've been shooting. Trying to keep people just engaged because I think that's the main tool of the greenhouse is like if I'm from a foreign place, like I'm from not even that far, let's say I'm from Ottawa and I want to get involved in agriculture, like where do I go? The greenhouse is it, and you need to maintain that demand. So it's like, oh, I want to learn about the plant physiology basics 101. We can like, okay, video, plant physiology 101, 3-minute video, and where can you see it? For space.
Oh yeah. Sounds great.
I hope so. I don't know. I know you guys are busy. I'm just throwing it out there.
Let's talk. Thank you very much, Dom.
Amazing. I think we're ready to wrap here. If you want to take it away, Dad.
Sure.
Any other questions?
All right. Well, I just want to thank everyone for joining us here at Force-Based and tuning in live from the greenhouse. Thank you, Isa and Birdie on our team for running this remote camera. And I just want to let you know we're closing up the Zoom, we're closing up the live stream, but this conversation would be available on our YouTube channel if anyone would like to revisit or share it there. Have a great afternoon, and please join us again at Force-Based and check out the greenhouse while you can. Thanks.